Okay, today I am going to ask Muriel,
Mirela.
Mirela,
It's
I'm
not
just
an easy
asking.
one.
Okay, a couple questions about her session. And first, what led you up to wanting a session?
So I had been reading a book by Michael, and now I'm gonna forget his name in the moment.
Newton.
Um, Michael Newton, thank you. And the book was talking about past life regression, doing hypnotherapy, and looking at past life regression, and just how that whole process has been so helpful through many people, when trying to overcome trauma and understand things, get a better understanding, and it's a method for healing. And given that I've gone through some things in my life, um, and traditional talk therapy didn't it worked to an extent, but not fully where I felt like I was fully okay. I thought that this just resonated with me as I read more about it. And so I just thought that this came to me as in the right time when I was ready to receive this information, and I wanted to try it and see if it could help me.
Okay, and then you called me and we set it up. And how did you feel leading up to the day you came for your session?
Um, I was nervous. I was anxious. I was excited, um, hopeful, and then tried not to be too hopeful at the same time, because this experience is different for everyone, based on where you are in your life, and what you are dealing with. So many different emotions crossed my mind, and even the night before, as I was texting you just to get some reassurance, even all this information that I had, because it was something new to me, it's always that unknown. And so I thank you for that reassurance and talking me through and helping me get a better understanding of it.
Okay, and how did you feel when you got here?
I felt real at peace. I knew I was doing the right thing. For me, this was the right thing. It felt right. I was in the right place. And I was ready to hear or not hear anything at all. I knew that this was something that I needed to go through. And I was ready for whatever I got out of the session, which was quite a bit.
It was. So how did you feel during the session?
So, one of the things that really stuck out for me was, as you were doing the countdown, and I could still feel my mind racing, because again, the nerves and just my brain working, it kept racing, and my thoughts kept trying to go to like different things and trying to kind of control the situation in a way, of how I was going to do. And then all of a sudden it just that started to slowly go away. And so I didn't know really what to expect. And as we started going back to just looking back at this life, and um I thought, how am I going to know what to answer? What if she asks questions that I don't have the answer to? And what really stood out to me the most was they just came. The answer just appeared. I'm laying there with you, and you were talking to me. You're asking me question and things that I never could have known. The answer was just so clear and visible, and my mouth just communicated and just said what my eyes were seeing, although it's not something that I ever remember, or whether it was a feeling or a a place and time. So that was really, really interesting, that it just came. I knew what the answers were to whatever questions you had.
And there were quite a few of them,
Yep.
quite a few. One of the things, if you don't mind, is at the very end, after I asked if you were complete and everything, because I get messages fed to me, and it was like, where's her inner child? And that was just, it was amazing. It was mind blowing to me. If you want to share, you can. I won't tell about your session here, but it was amazing.
It truly was. I mean, going into this session, I had maybe different expectations of what was going to come out of this, right? I thought that a certain, a lot has happened in my life, certainly, and I thought that I was carrying on a lot more about certain traumas than I was about others, or at least in my present life, I felt like I was more okay with some of the stuff that had happened in the past. And what surprised me here was just how completely the opposite that was. That the items that I thought I was carrying and I was holding on to, realistically, I was quite okay with. And it was the other stuff that, my life back home, that what I had gone through, and the part that you mentioned when you talked about, my inner child. Um, what I didn't expect was to find myself fighting within myself, because I had to be invisible for most of my life to survive. And I didn't even realize that I was still carrying that with me. Um, it absolutely makes sense. No matter how much I try to put on that hard shell exterior, for people that, because I don't want them to, but it's really more of a hard shell because I don't want you to look inside, because the person inside is absolutely terrified. And so it was huge and unexpected, and left me completely exposed, but in a good way, where what that needed to come out, even that realization for myself, what I had been carrying all this time.
Yeah, when you said the word invisible, it just sent chills through my body then, and it does now too, because it was so perfect.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And how are you doing now, a week or so later? What's going on?
Well, what's interesting is, the day when I got home, I had felt like I had probably like 15 semi trucks that ran over me. I was so tired and depleted. Um, and I know it was because it was so much emotional work that just happened. So I was really tired, and I was still processing and trying to think back to everything that we had discussed. So I went and I slept. I slept because I felt like that's what my body needed to, take in all of it. Um, the one thing that well, a couple of things I've noticed. One, I feel a lot more at peace with myself and with things like around me. I feel a lot lighter, in a sense that I don't have so much brewing on in my head. It's it's clear. And while this whole process was, it felt like, peeling an onion, like it's, like, or picking at a scab and you just pull the scab open. And so now there's that raw, the part that, you would think like, oh my God, now it's all exposed and you're going through it again and you have these emotions. What's that going to do to you? Well, the work that we did with me letting go of some of this stuff, I'm able to remind myself of that, and quickly, not, a week later or a month later, remember to bring peace back to myself and let go of it. But I can do that almost instantaneously. And just as my emotions start to brew up and I start to get either sad or angry, or I can quickly just, it'll just come to me and I can let go of that, and then I can move on without carrying it for, weeks or months at a time, and then down the line eventually letting go of it. So thank you. It's the healing that I didn't even know I needed, but I got it, and I feel so much stronger for it.
Fabulous. Yeah, great. And keep texting me, keep letting me know. I love staying in contact after and watch what happens as it goes.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for trusting me with your life in your session and for doing this for me. And hopefully it will help others that are looking for a better life or a different life to really step into their own and do what you did. It's powerful.
I certainly hope so. Whether I think whether you have big traumas or not, that's, for me that was my call. But I think this process, or this way of healing, can, no matter how big, even if you're just confused with where your life is going, what direction if you want to go, one, you're not sure what you're doing with your life, you want something better but it's not happening. I think, looking inside yourself really for what is it that you want. This process, I think, is definitely something that can help anybody, regardless whether it's you have some big healing to do, or really just want to get a better understanding of what you're doing with your life.
Correct. And when I started this journey, I mean, one, I had no idea it was going to be a journey. And two, like I write in my book, From Behind the Chair, I had no clue how all of those things that I went through in my life, how they were affecting me on a daily basis in little ways and big ways. There's a saying, we don't know that we don't know what we don't know. And
Yeah,
we don't. And when it starts to unravel, it's an amazing journey.
it absolutely is. Thank you. I'm so grateful that I found you, and that I was able to do this. I think I can already see that just my thought process and the way that I, day to day stuff, the way I tackle them on, I can already see the impact that it's having. So I forever will be grateful to you for that.
Well, thank you. And I am so grateful that you found me, and stay in touch, and we'll follow this journey hopefully a little bit farther.
I certainly hope so. Thanks.
Thank you.